All right, let's talk about something that sounds a little bit out there. We're going to go on a pretty surprising journey that connects, believe it or not, data centers, a wild patent for Microsoft, and a whole new vision for the internet. And it all boils down to one huge question. What do we even consider valuable work anymore? In this digital age? Okay, let's dive in. I mean, seriously? What if you could earn crypto just by watching a video, or even just by thinking about something? It sounds like total science fiction, right? But to even begin to understand how we could get to an idea like this, we've got to start somewhere much more down to earth, figuring out how to stop wasting a ton of electricity in a server room.
And yeah, that brings us to our first stop on this journey, the efficiency revolution. Because before anyone could dream about mining crypto with their mind, we first had to figure out how to squeeze more power out of the machines we already had.
So think about the old days of computing. Things were simple, but wow, were they inefficient. You'd have one big physical server doing one single job. One box for your email, a whole other box for your website, and on and on. And most of the time, those powerful machines were just sitting there, barely breaking a sweat. But then, virtualization came along, and it changed literally everything. It let one single beefy server pretend to be many different servers, all running side by side. So the secret sauce that makes all this possible, it's a piece of software called Hypervisor. You can think of it like a really smart traffic cop for the computer's resources. It takes all the server's power, all its memory, its processing chips, and it just cleverly splits it all up among these different virtual machines, making sure everybody gets what they need. This was a huge deal. It didn't just save space and money, it basically paved the way for the massive cloud systems we all rely on today. But here's the ironic twist. All of this incredible efficiency, all this computational power we unlocked, it enabled brand new technologies like blockchain and cryptocurrency, which then created a brand new massive problem of their own. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote, it comes directly from a 2020 patent filed by Microsoft, and they get right to the point. Traditional crypto mining, the process that keeps the network running, it can require, in their words, enormous amounts of computational energy. So think about that. We built these super efficient systems just to turn around and power a super inefficient one. So this process, this energy-guzzling thing, it's called proof of work. And what it is computers all over the world are basically in a race to solve these incredibly hard, but ultimately useless math puzzles. The winner gets to validate a chunk of transactions and gets rewarded with some new coins. Now, it's a really clever way to keep a network secure, for sure, but it kind of begs the question, doesn't it? Is this really proof of work, or is it more like proof of waste? Couldn't we be using all that energy for something better? And that very question leads us to this absolutely radical, almost unbelievable solution that was proposed in that exact same Microsoft patent. It's a whole new way of thinking about what work even is, moving it out of the server rack and into our own heads. Okay, so get this. The patent basically lays out this fascinating process. Instead of a computer burning tons of electricity to solve a puzzle, a human just does a simple task, like watching an ad. Then a sensor measures your body's response to that ad. If the data shows that, yep, you were paying attention, the system accepts that as its proof of work, and boom, you get awarded some cryptocurrency. You're basically solving that complex problem without even thinking about it. And we're not talking about some vague, hand-wavy concept here. No, the patent gets very specific. It details how the system could monitor things like your brain waves, your heart rate, even your body heat. It's a wild proposal to replace all that computational energy with a totally new and maybe a little unsettling resource, our own biological data. So that Microsoft patent totally reimagined the source of digital work, right? Moving it from silicon chips to human biology. But that's only half of the equation. What if we also reimagined the purpose of that work? What if, instead of just being less wasteful, the work was actually useful to society? Well, that's the core idea behind this whole new paradigm called proof of benefit. And the difference here is it's fundamental. Proof of work, it just burns energy on abstract puzzles to secure a network. That's it. But proof of benefit says, hey, let's take all that same energy and point it toward tasks that have a real measurable benefit for society. So the output isn't just a secure transaction, it's a newly trained AI model, or a cleaned up public data set, or a finished scientific calculation. The value comes from actually contributing to the common good. So what does this useful compute actually look like in the real world? Well, the Intelligent Internet White Paper, which is where this whole idea comes from, it lays out a few categories. It could be things like training an open source AI, or helping to serve up requests for that AI, or maybe just cleaning up public data to make it more useful for everyone. The whole idea is to reward people for contributing to a shared digital infrastructure that we can all use.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. We've gone from making computer hardware more efficient, to questioning the incredible waste of proof of work, to exploring this bizarre idea of using human attention as value. And finally, we've landed on a system that rewards verifiable public benefit. It's a pretty clear and pretty wild evolutionary path when you look at it.
And this isn't just some theory. There's a real blueprint here. The white paper lays out this really ambitious four-step master plan for an internet where value is tied directly to creating useful intelligence for everyone, all anchored on open data. It's a system where every single coin that's created would be, as they put it, capital crystallized from intelligence. Which brings us right back around to our big question. This whole journey, from server racks all the way to brainwaves, it really forces us to stop and reconsider what we even mean by work and value. Is it just solving a puzzle? Is it paying attention? Or is it contributing something actually useful to the world? In the digital reality we're all building together, the answer we choose is going to define the future we get.